After the Fallout TV series has gone live, there has been a huge resurgence in interest in Fallout 4 again. Not only are Bethesda bringing out a next-gen update to update the game and make it better, but there are also tons of mods and other things you can add to the game to make it better. So, what is so good about Fallout 4? Well, first we need to talk about what Fallout 4 is. Fallout 4 is essentially an open world post-apocalyptic game that allows you to travel the Wasteland, taking out bad guys and completing a lot of side quests, which if you've played a Bethesda game before you'll know is just a normal thing. It's very easy to start the main story and then get swamped down by so many side quests that you forget that there's a story. You start off the game by creating a character, and then once you create that character you go through a little bit of a story at the start of the game that leads up to the apocalypse happening and the end of the world. Then you awake in a vault and you leave the vault to eventually go out into the wasteland and do stuff. So the first thing you need to know about Fallout 4 is that you have a little thing called V.A.T.S, which is a view that allows you to essentially freeze the game, aim for whatever part of the body that you want to attack on your opponent, and then press a button to attack with a percentage chance of hitting and potentially obliterating that body part. Of course, you can play the entire game without using this system, though it is definitely more fun to play it with this. It all depends on the type of gamer you are and what kind of, if you really like first person shooters, then you're going to run around using like normal first person shooter mechanics and obviously not V.A.T.S. The game has a complete gear system, so you can change your clothing, you can change your armor, you can change your weapons, you can mod things and mod your weapons and add things to your weapons. And it pretty much just gives you an overall complete freedom to do what you want in the game. On top of that, you also get power armor, which is probably the most awesome thing about Fallout 4. It's the fact that they brought in power armor instead of a wearable armor, but it's actually a frame that you get into, which you are able to modify, repair, and upgrade. Though it does need power cores in order to power it, so you will need to search around to make sure you got enough of those. But given a short amount of time, you will have an abundance of these power cores and you won't really be worrying about power. You're also not restricted to just one power armor. You can go around and find different frames and then attach different parts to those frames to create the power armor that you want. Obviously the best power armor in the game and the one that everyone loves is the T60 power armor, but you can go with any other type you want and mix and match parts as well. It also comes with different colorways as well, so you can change the look and style of the armor as and when you want to, as long as you found them things and obviously have the parts to upgrade, because you do need parts. All power armors are repaired and modified on a frame, so you have to have a frame, and this leads us to the fact you can build your own little city area, town thing, village, I suppose, kind of outpost, I suppose. And you can have shops and things like that in the area, and you can have NPCs going around it, but the main part is that this is the place where you can put all your storage stuff, store extra gear that you need, have power armor frames, and even go for, like some people do, like I did, have a warehouse, which is essentially a showcase where all of my power armor was on frames, just there as like display pieces. Like I said, you also have the ability to upgrade and modify and change your clothing as well as obviously modifying armors with a weapons bench. You can do like weapon stuff and add attachments and change your weapons to essentially fit the style that you want. And this is based on the way that you change parts of the weapon will change the way the weapon works. This is probably one of the better parts of the game, and the fact you're able to modify things and change things to fit your own playstyle. And then we move on to the story. The story is actually a really good story. Obviously I can't go into any detail about the story, otherwise it would give it away and then you'll know it, and then what's the point of playing it. But the story itself is really interesting. From the very start of the game I was gripped. And I played this game quite a long time ago actually. It's been a long time since I played the game, but I'm considering getting back into it on the basis that there is a new thing coming soon, which I'm not going to talk about right now. I'll talk about that in a minute, but it makes this game more interesting for me. The story is really good, the side quests are really good, there's a lot of differences in the game, there's a lot of places to explore, and you can just explore the wasteland and just find different areas, and some places will have side quests. There are also random encounters that just happen out of nowhere. You have to be a bit careful when you're traveling the wasteland because some things can happen that you just wouldn't expect. And you can go out into the essentially, what's it called? I can't remember what it's called. I think it's the radiation zone. Basically the no man's land area outside of the map. You can travel into that if you have got the ability to survive the radiation and explore around there as well. It's not actually an end of map sort of barrier. You can keep going, which is kind of interesting. Obviously this area has a lot of enemies and a lot of dangers, but it is worth checking around there to find some things, and there are some things you'll come across which can be quite interesting to find. The game itself is set in Boston area, and there's a lot of places to go around, and if you've been to that area you'll recognize some parts of it. There are several different groups or clans that you can join and actually get on their side and do missions for them. And this opens up other like little story things and other little side quest stories. And then we go on to mods. So obviously there are a lot of mods for this game, a lot of things you can add to the game. I'm not going to go into those, but you can check online for them and find these mods. And if you're playing it on PC, you can go to like Nexus mods or places like that to find a lot of different mods for this to change it. And that leads me to the one thing that interests me and kind of makes me want to go back to this game, and that is the new mod that's going to be coming soon, though unfortunately this new next gen update has caught the devs off guard a little bit. But there is a mod being created which is Fallout London. The developers of this mod have basically created London in the game, fully voiced everything, fully voiced all of the characters, added a lot of things specific to their mod, and they've essentially created an entire independent game within Fallout, which is interesting, and it's something I'm definitely looking forward to. However, because of this next gen update that's happened, obviously they've had some setbacks because of it, but hopefully it won't take them too long to sort it out and get back on track and release this mod, because it's definitely something that I think a lot of people are looking forward to. Obviously on top of just the game itself, there's also VR, so you can play Fallout 4 VR, and there are a lot of mods for that as well that add to the game. And if you're like my son, for example, who just actually didn't realise that he'd never played a Fallout game, which baffles my mind that he'd never played one. But there are people out there that have never played it, and their first encounter with the Fallout games are the Fallout series. Whether you're an old school like fan of the Fallout series, or whether you're just new to it because you watched the Fallout show, it's definitely a game that's worth playing and something that you could definitely get into and have a lot of fun with. And like I say, not only do you have the entire game, the entire story, all the side quests, hundreds of hours of gameplay, but you've also got a load of mods and loads of different mods that even add entire storylines to the game, new characters, weapons and everything else. And it's a Bethesda game as well, which means obviously you know you're going to have hundreds of hours of gameplay. It is definitely a game that I will recommend. If you like the idea of playing this sort of game online without V.A.T.S, because it doesn't work online the way that you would think it would, because it can't slow down gameplay because it's online. But if you like the idea of playing this game or something like this game online with your friends, then Fallout 76 is the way to go. And it just so happens that more than 1 million people are on Fallout 76 now, so it's a great time to get onto it. Also, make sure you like and subscribe, because I am on the road to 10,000 subscribers at the moment and I need your help to get there. Obviously get down in the comments, let me know what you think of the game or whether you're going to be playing it. And all that's left for me to say is I've been Lycan from Green Lycan Reviews. Thank you for watching my video, and I'll see you in the next one.